One man, one mission, to rid the world of chronic anxiety once and for all. The Anxiety Guy, Dennis Simsek, shares his personal transformation from living a life filled with overwhelming worry to becoming a full-fledged positivity machine, a leading authority in generalized anxiety. Dennis gets to the truth of your mental health challenges and sets you on a path to transforming each and every area of your life. Here he is, the one and only, the Anxiety Guy.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm Dennis Simsek. Thanks so much for joining me. This is episode number 6. Make sure to subscribe through iTunes because I'll be making these every Monday for you. And as well, our Facebook page under the Anxiety Guy. As well, you can follow me on Twitter and get all the updates every day on Twitter on what the Anxiety Guy mission is and what we're accomplishing in the mental health world there. And with that said, let's get on to episode number 6. Episode number 6 is one that I thought I'd do because I was starting to get some emails from people asking me, Dennis, could you do something on intrusive obsessive thinking? Because that's a kind of a gray area. And when I was looking around, I really wasn't seeing too many answers or other people's experiences when it came to obsessive, fearful, constant fearful thinking. And in my own struggles, it was a daily struggle because I basically got to the point where I was so caught up in my inner world, my world of fearful thoughts, my world of constant symptoms, that I almost didn't even acknowledge any of what was going on in my outside world. My thoughts were tricking me so much, and that's the kind of thing that I started to look at it as if my thoughts were tricking me and my anxiety was tricking me. And when I started to do that, I started to feel some relief because I started to give my anxiety less respect. And the nice thing is that when you start to give your anxiety and these thoughts less respect and stop focusing in on them so much, their power tends to seize up. And when the power starts to seize up, you can really tell that you're becoming less interested in what your fearful thoughts are in that moment. And basically, when it comes to anxious people, it's almost like we magnify everything that comes into our minds. For example, I'll take my own personal experience with anxiety and go with the lump in the throat feeling. That was one sensation that lingered all the time. And every time I started with a feeling, just a feeling, almost like you're crying in a movie, like a sad movie. You know that feeling when you feel a little lump in your throat, like a golf ball stuck in there or something. As soon as that came up, the first thing was that I was interested. I was curious to see what it was. And that kind of escalated through my thoughts. It escalated to this could be something serious. Yes, I got it checked out. Yes, I got the test done. Yes, people, professionals in the world of mental health were telling me that it has to do with my anxiety. But what if? And those are the two most powerful words. What if this time it's different? What if this time it's different? Was a line that I always thought. And once I started to pay that sentence the respect that it wanted, everything started to blow up. I mean, catastrophic thinking. Next thing you know, I'd find myself in the emergency room with some needles in my arm and ECGs and blood tests and you name it. And I don't miss those days at all because those were some very, very torturous days. And it wasn't just once in a while, it was all the time. And the biggest reason for that was a small thought started to turn into a massive, large problem. And I started to realize that the more I believed the lies that my anxiety was telling me, the more my cycle started to continue. My worry and stress and fearful cycle started to continue. And all I wanted to do was just push the thought away. I wanted to say, you know what? I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it. But it's almost like you have an elephant in your living room and you're trying to watch TV and you're going to say, no, there's no elephant in the living room. And that's something that I struggled with because I didn't know another way to look at it. And in fact, all I had to do was find something that pulled me into my outside world, to make me more conscious of my outside world rather than focusing on my inside world so much. And this is so crucial for everybody out there to understand, because what I did was I took up photography. My dad was a photographer and he gave me some tips. I got a camera and I was ready to go. And I said, you know what? Things cannot get worse than they are. I've tried everything and let me see what I can do with this. And it was just a hobby that I've always been interested in. But little did I know that the 15 to 20 minutes a day that I spent on getting my camera and going outside and taking photos of people, places, and things and nature and everything, little did I know what a powerful effect that was going to have on my intrusive, fearful thoughts. It was almost instant. And what started to happen was that the cycle of worry stopped because I became more interested in photography and my outside world, and I became less interested in my inside world. And this is something so crucial for you to understand, is if you can not push the thought away, but find something. And I totally recommend photography because it worked for me. It works for a lot of people. And if you can just find something to turn your attention to, and not just in those catastrophic moments, but just make it a daily habit throughout the day, during the day, each and every day, to just go out and do something that's going to take your focus away from your inner world and more on your outside world. So I stopped believing the lies that anxiety was telling me. The lies that this could be something serious, that lump in the throat feeling could be something serious. The lies that, someone walking by was judging me so harshly. The lies that, let's say financially that things are going to be horrible next month. Those were all lies, because as anxiety suffers, we magnify the smallest things. We magnify them. We make them huge. We take a small problem and we make it massive. And little did I know that we actually have, every one of us goes through 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. So I thought to myself during my anxiety disorder what was the difference between me and that guy? That guy seems so calm. We think the same amount of thoughts per day. We think from 38 to 45 thoughts per minute. So why is his stress levels at a 1 and a 2? And why is my anxiety levels an 8 or 9? And the only thing I could think of was that I started to just magnify the problem. Whereas he, Mr. calm, relaxed person over there who's always in Zen mode, this guy basically looked at a fearful thought and said, meh, I know exactly what it is. I'm not going to blow it out of proportion. I have these thoughts on a regular basis and I'm not going to pay it much attention or give it my respect. And that was huge. That was absolutely huge. Once I started to differentiate those things, and constant high levels of worry and anxiety produce a constant stream a constant stream of adrenaline rushes. So, you might feel like throughout the day, your adrenaline is running 110%, and you're always kind of in panic mode, even when there's nothing to be panicky about. And when you're always in that mode, next thing you know, your thoughts jump in and you go, hey, woo, and next thing your thoughts take over, and you've got a problem. And that basically leads to what I think is chronic fatigue syndrome, I think it's called. But a lot of times when we think about chronic fatigue, we rarely think about how anxiety might have an effect on it. And it's huge. It's huge. And anybody who's watching this video, I'd love if you could share it and let everybody else know that, you know what? You're fine. Your health is fine. Stop doing the tests. Stop getting multiple doctors' opinions. You're just fine. All you have to do is take care of the root of your anxiety. Take that away. Find a hobby or something that's going to get you more interested in your outside conscious world and less in your inside world. Turn your focus to something that interests you in that moment of, of harshness, of negativity and fear, because I always thought there was something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. All it is that we blow things out of proportion. That's it. And I want you to understand that it's really important day after day to be very gentle to yourself. Gentle. And don't beat yourself up because you're having those thoughts. Don't think to yourself, am I going crazy? Am I losing it? You're not losing it. It's just a conditioning thing. When you see somebody out there, and we all have that friend who just seems like he doesn't worry about anything and no anxiety and doesn't seem to have a care in the world and is extremely successful. When we think about that person, basically we have to think that that person right there has conditioned himself. He's conditioned himself to be conscious of his outside world, to be gentle to himself, to understand that, thoughts can make you fatigued. They can make you tired. They can, drown you spiritually, mentally, physically. And the people that understand the connection between your thoughts and the way you feel, those are the people that start to make those tiny little steps every single day to create a change. And once those steps, those baby steps start to happen, next thing you know, the snowball starts to get bigger, okay? And you may not be seeing the light right now, but as you start to do those baby steps, even something small today, towards lessening your anxiety levels, naturally, next thing you know, everything's going to add up, and in 2 years' time, you may be a better person than you were before anxiety. Understand that, because I was in your shoes and I turned everything around, which means that you can turn everything around. But there's 3 things that I want you to truly understand that what it's going to take. Number 1, it's going to take perfect practice. So when you practice something, it's not just, I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. It's kind of the way you're going about it. Okay, let's take an example here. Let's take an example of nutrition, for instance. Nutrition, can make a difference, of course, in your anxiety levels. And when you're practicing eating correctly, right, make sure that you're doing it on a daily basis, okay? You're doing it consistently. Number 2 is persistence. So when we start to make these changes, okay, it's really important that you persist in those tough moments, those tough times, when you're dealing with your thoughts and not pushing against it, but letting it be while you're going about your day. Be persistent in that approach, okay? Don't think that, it's not working, right? It takes time. And trust me, with persistence, you're going to get there. And the last one is patience. This is absolutely critical. And you have to have patience. Reason being that everybody recovers at their own speeds, okay? One person might overcome their level 8, 9 anxiety within 2 weeks, whereas another person might take 2 years. We don't know how quickly you're going to desensitize yourself from those fearful thoughts. And you know, patience is crucial. It's difficult right now, but patience is crucial, and that's what it's going to take to get where you want to go. That is it for episode number 6. I hope I've given you some really good tools there, guys, to overcome those intrusive, challenging, fearful thoughts. And if you have any questions, www.anxietyexit.com. Make sure to come over there and send me an email. Let me know what your story is. If you're watching this on YouTube, send me a comment on the bottom. Tell me about your story. Maybe I can help you guys out. And subscribe, because I'll be making these every Monday. Go to iTunes and subscribe to the Anxiety Guy podcast. I look forward to hearing your stories, your personal stories, guys. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys, make sure to send me an email through the main website. And I will see you guys soon in episode number 7. Take care, everybody.